What's happening, family? Welcome to another edition of the every Mondays. If you amazing time, not just if you're starting to how you're doing. Hope that everything is well. Let me just not important it is yes. Okay. All right. Here we are. How's everybody doing? I hope that your Monday started well. All right. Today, MQT59. For some reason, I don't know why I'm hearing myself super loud. Let me know if the sound is okay for you. It should be, but for some very odd reason, I do feel like it's super loud. Yeah, maybe this way. Okay. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, 2 level. Yeah, okay, cool. 1 2. Cool. One two 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check. Here we are. Well, welcome, MQT59. Happy Monday. I hope that, as I said earlier, y'all are good. Today's show is really about just conversating a little bit. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do the show next Monday, so this might very well be the only show until, well, probably the end of the year. But we'll see. We'll see how things flow. Today, tonight, this afternoon, this morning, wherever you are watching this show from, I'm going to be talking about different topics, but today really is all about pioneering and not necessarily reaping the rightful fruits for the hard work that you put in. And I think that this is the problem with most people who happen to have done quite remarkable things. No matter the industry. And this sentiment that, there is just never enough, right? And that there's a bit of a sense of injustice where other people are reaping the fruits of those hard and fully dedicated time to building, what seems to be an empire, what seems to be, an expression of success, but it all actually is just for show. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that, because it's also my personal story as well that I want to reflect on. It's interesting how sometimes you look back, I look back, and I see that I have done so much, yet I have so much more to do. As a matter of fact, today I was on Spotify and I was looking at my catalog of personal releases, personal music. So not remixes, but actually my own productions and songs. And I was looking, I said, okay, it's a decent catalog. It's not, it's not bad. And I felt like it's just not enough. I need to just do much more and put much more out there, which I'm working on, of course. I just released a new song this past Friday. And there's going to be another one this Friday coming. So definitely the work is not stopping. And sometimes, I'm like, I wonder if I'm worthy to claim some sort of respect or some sort of consideration for what I've done. And certainly I think the weight of the years definitely weigh in your favor in any field that requires a certain expertise. But at the same time, you can't really be like one of those, very backward thinking sort of folks where your mentality is so much caught on the idea that you're owed this much or that much amount of respect and consideration and this and that and the other. And it's like finding the balance, between basically staying humble, but also, claiming your space and truly living in your space, because it's okay for you to claim that, okay, I've done this, I've done that, and I deserve to be where I am, where I wish to be and where I am right now. But the thing is that this is not a space in the world where you can assume that things are going to be staying the way they are. As a matter of fact, they're not supposed to, simply because the world is just not made that way. Life is just not that way. Everything is going to be moving at a certain point towards, a direction that you have no control necessarily upon, right? All you have control upon is obviously right now. And even right now, you don't know what's going to happen in the next 10 minutes. Yes, you have an idea because you make plans and you plan things out. But if you think about it, you are not, you're just not fully in control of what, life at a certain point chooses to unfold for you. And all you can do is obviously, continue moving with purpose and drive, but understanding that, claiming that space, claiming that position, saying that you are where you need to be and where you need to be has to be respected, this and that and the other, has to be correlated, verified, and affirmed through consistent work. And even when you do the consistent work, and even when you deliver what you're supposed to be delivering in terms of just quality and consistency, you're still might not be acknowledged, might not even be recognized and respected by most. So the question is, what are you doing this for? And this is one of the questions that I had to ask myself years ago. Actually, I had just been discovered by the great Oshunlade. Well, I had just been blessed with the opportunity to release my first solo project on Yoruba Records, his label, which back in the days, and still to this day, holds quite a remarkable presence, and has released some very charismatic music through the years, classics. And, having been blessed with the opportunity to have him as a mentor and releasing my first solo project, I remember I was really contemplating in a very, very, very negative way the fact that people will use my beats in their music, and they would literally just like chop my stuff, and sometimes not even bother trying to like recreate something. They would literally just blatantly take my cut, my drums, and put music on that and release their music. And I was so offended by that. And I think to a certain extent it is, but there's no such thing as royalties on drums, or such, or at least, well, maybe now there might be. I'm pretty sure there should be, but no, I mean, given that there is 9,000 types of royalties for a song, so certainly that might necessarily be considered nowadays. But back in the days, it wasn't. Or at least I was told that it wasn't. So, I took it upon me to blast, one of those folks out, and calling that man out for having used one of my drums for one of his songs. When actually all it was is just a show of appreciation from that producer, that artist, who's a very respected guy in the game, and yeah, maybe you could say definitely he lacked the creativity to do his own drums, or maybe he just liked the drums so much he felt like he could add something different, and wanted to give it his own touch. Which, artistically talking, why not? It's sampling. Well, at this point, it wasn't really sampling; it was literally blatantly using the drums. But anyways, bottom line is, I was so offended by that, and I was really affected in a way that when I spoke about that to Ashunade and some of my other peers, very few as a matter of fact, because because you also feel a little bit of shame, because you don't know if you're supposed to feel a certain way about it, but a lot of people say that you should feel a certain way about it. So it's you're kind of still figuring things out, and I was told that the moment you release a project, you release music, you put it out there for the world, it is no longer yours. It is everybody's. And symbolically, yes, it's true. I agree with that. The moment you put something out, people will make it theirs or not. And you should feel, honored that people see value in what you do, so much so that they want to make it theirs. It took me some years to really process that idea, and I have to say I struggled with that because I've said it before on the show, but I've always felt like a little bit of the black sheep in my industry, in the sense that a little bit of an outsider, quite a lot of an outsider in so many ways, not really into the cliques, but at the same time I'm known, and I would dare to say that I respect everybody, or most people, as a matter of fact. And I believe that, to the most part, I'm getting that respect back, which I think is essentially the most important thing is, holding, certain values, which respect is part of those values. And I hold that to very high regards. So I do treat people with as much respect as I can. Yeah, I expect to be treated equally the same. However, when I went through the process of really studying these feelings of mine, towards people, starting to use more of my drums and getting inspired and hearing productions being done for major artists that really sounded exactly like Boddhi Satva, or you could definitely tell that it came from the Boddhi Satva school of sounds. I had a very bittersweet feeling. I have to tell you the truth. I definitely felt like I was like, yo, but why don't they come to me for that, man? They kept asking people to do vague and pale copies of the work when they could actually come to the original guy that does it, and I would deliver something nice. And the truth of the matter is that it's not on you. It's not on you. Sometimes people will just not feel either the need to invite you or to ask you to do something for them just because, well, they have their own people, they have their own team that decide. It can be decided on so many different levels, so many different scales. you can't really presume and expect that, you know, you will be the go-to person. And nowadays, where everybody and their mamas can do amazing drum programming, you know, from getting, you know, access to amazing platforms such as Splice.com, for example, or many other platforms like Splice, which I'm not getting paid for. So I'm talking about them, you know, because it is a platform that I also use because they have great tools, you know, very useful tools, stuff that are very, very, very useful for producers, especially producers who are at a certain caliber, a certain level where you actually know how to, for example, sample accordingly, you know, work with what you got, and, you know, use great tools to enhance the quality of your productions. You know, with that being said, there's however loops and stuff like that that people can use, and I think that's also great. That's the evolution of sounds, and feeling like you owed something, right? Is a complicated feeling because nobody owes you nothing. That's the absolute truth. And at the same time, it can feel very bittersweet when you're not being acknowledged. And for a long time, I felt like, you know, I was either criticized for the kind of productions I was doing, you know, for the fact that I was mixing, you know, the mainstream to the underground, etc., just doing different kinds of fusions. And I really, really felt super, super hurt. At a certain point, I got really discouraged by all that. I was like, you know what? I don't even know why I'm doing this thing, you know? And bear in mind, it's been 22 years in this industry, you know? And yo, it's amazing the amount of time I wanted to give up, and I ended up not giving up because you're too far. I was way too deep in it already, and I continued because at the end of the day, the truth is, people around you will make you feel like, oh, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this, you should do that. But truthfully, you're not. You're not supposed to do it the way they want to do it. The way they suggest you should be doing it. And so I realized that I think early on, as much as I was struggling with these emotions, I realized that I just had to keep on making art and creating music and building a body of work that, you know, needed to grow. And that growth was also, the work on the growth was actually inspired by my good brother Keisha, who I'm inviting tonight, and who I wasn't sure was going to join us tonight, but he's here. So let us bring the brother in the stream. Indeed. Papa Keisha, premier bateau balili balori.
Yo.
Ma mignocité, donc, Papa Keisha, donc, merci, tu. Mignon garçon.
Un peu seulement. We're working on it. Work in progress.
Congratulations, Papa K. Congratulations. So yeah, as I was saying, you know, talking about legacy, not claiming, but feeling like sometimes, you know, when you're a pioneer, and somebody who's genuine and looking out for others, along the way, you tend to realize that, you know, you forget to make sure that you have the right people that also look out for you, and it's not just a one-way street. So yeah, and also, you know, the inner fights and battles with dealing with that sense of feeling of injustice, where it's like, but it's not fair. How am I doing all this work and other people are reaping the fruits of this hard labor?
Which is a conversation we have a lot. Do you believe that the fruit of the labor is they are benefiting from the fruit of your labor or their own labor?
Well, it's a great question. I think it's their own labor. However, I think that if we talk creatively talking, right, in terms of inspiration, whether it is you or myself,
everybody benefits from our labor,
obviously. But and
let's put it this
and again,
way.
and it's not to put it in a way that, but we have to call a cat a cat. I mean, I remember to this very day, we're talking about early 90s, listening to your music on MCM Africa, and being like, "Whoa, what is this?" I had never heard anything like that. It was a mind-blowing experience. And you fast forward to today, and obviously I entered the industry, did what I did, became an influencing presence and force in the game.
Yeah.
And so kind of like following the same trajectory that you had. However, minus the mainstream success. But nonetheless,
can you call it mainstream?
But yes, I mean, look, when you generated the kind of money and influence you've generated through the years, it is a mainstream success. I mean, you had the Cora Award, so many prizes. You have been with proeminent creatives who have influenced generations of musicians until I don't know how many years in time. It really is speaking volume. I mean, I'm talking about Kassav, and so we had a conversation. I mean, for example, for you in your field and your sound, I mean, you and Kassav are the pioneers. I mean, Kassav before you, and then you following right after that. Of course, there's other producers that have to be acknowledged, but the bottom line is, answering your question, is it their hard work or yours? It is their hard work. Undoubtedly, people succeed out of their hard work. Yes.
Yeah.
But you and I know very well that we've helped pave the way for a lot of people. We opened a lot of doors, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not asking anybody to return the favor necessarily in that sense. But what I'm saying is more, an observation. It's more like, oh, okay, shit, this is how it's working. I see. And no. I mean, it used to be bittersweet, but now it's like, oh, okay, whatever.
It's an interesting feeling because it's also mixed. Master electronic, whatever. It's mixed with this feeling of the imposter syndrome that is there too. Dali, there's this feeling of, what up, Malcolm Beats. As you can see, I brought my people.
I see. You bring the crew, you bring the squad.
Yeah, listen. Walk with your. Look at him with his AI photos looking cute.
Malcolm Beats.
So it takes a little bit of experience and a little bit of going through the frustrations and stuff to accept, even for yourself, that you change the face of, or you part of, because it's not something you do single-handedly, but you part of changing the face of Zouk.
Absolutely.
Bringing your own branch, changing the face of Kizomba, changing the face of, in a way, Ivory Coast music. You're part of that wave of Coupé Décalé. And in a way also shaping a little bit of the inspiration for the next generation of compa artists. And all the Congolese artists that are on the top right now in France, what they do is what you did 20 years ago. So you can't not see yourself as a trailblazer. Now, the problem here is, if you see yourself that way, why other people, they know who you are, but they pretend that you're not here. And it's something that, for my part, I see everywhere. I see in, when you talk to the people directly, they'll tell you, what you did is legendary. Your songs,
Sure.
you're the guy, etc. But when it comes to the moment
Les
where
gens
the artist,
n'habillent.
well, when it comes to the moment where the industry congratulates the industry, then it becomes politics. Then the Convergence want to congratulate the Convergence. The Angolans want to congratulate the Angolans. The Ivory Coast, etc., and all these people, they conveniently forget you in the conversation.
Absolument. And
So-
that applies also, to the other industries. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So then you must ask yourself, okay, what did I do wrong? Like, why not? Like, why am I not a flower? Why am I not recognized for my achievements? And do I care? I think the older you get, for my part, the less emotional I get about all this, because I accept that it might not be my mission to receive those flowers by those people, because what I'm doing might be a little bit way too ahead and in an altitude where they actually don't see me. They usually see me when it's like 10 years have passed and they're like, oh yeah, he used to do that. So, the use of the internet, the use of all these things. So when you do interviews, when you meet people, all of us say, yeah, you always been in advance, etc. But when they are congratulating themselves, in a way, because you are doing something that is international and that is, and then all these people are in their little, national competition, little politics. What you are is kind of,
There's an ovni.
yeah, not the same altitude. So you feel alone in a certain way, but it's not really that they forget you. It's that maybe they don't even know where to put you. I remember when my first album came out. When my first album came out, I was frustrated. Sold 100,000 copies. So I should be happy, right? But my frustration was, why am I in the islands section? When my album has Brazilian music, Zouk music, compa music, mixes of R&B, and like my first album, 98.
Yeah.
And I go to the FNAC, the store, and I ask the guy, first of all, I'm from Congo. Why am I not in Congolese music? Well, it's not Congolese music. Well, if I'm Congolese,
It must be
isn't my
Congolese,
music Congolese?
right? No.
Congolese artist? No. Your music is island music. I say, well, I'm rapping in English, so why am I not? If you decide that my music is island music, and I rap in English, why in the island you don't put Wyclef Jean as well? Why is he in hip hop R&B? And why am I not there? And they were like, yeah, but we cannot put you in all the categories at the same time. And I was like, yeah, but my album has all of this. And they were like, yeah, but the people who take the decision, they already put you in that box. So now you're there. And I was like, yeah, but I'm missing sales from the R&B crowd, from the rap crowd, and from the Congolese crowd as well, because you are putting me in the small section that is islands, meaning compa, zouk, kizomba. At that time, nobody was talking about kizomba. It was more Cap Verdean, Afro, zouk, etc. Like everything was in those 2 meters at the back of the store. And I was like, yeah, but I want to be in the prominent places. So I went to Sony and to the sub label where I was signed to Glove Music, and I told them, I want my album to have visibility, and since I'm in a big label, can you do something? So what they did is that all around the stores, the Fnac in Paris. They had big posters everywhere and stuff that was hanging on the wall with my face and the album everywhere. And but that was before the album came out. When the album came out, even the guys at Fnac said that, listen, they never have seen that. Everybody was stealing the album. They had to put the album out of where it was and put them under the protection, like with the alarm, because usually nobody would steal those albums, but mine, everybody would steal them. So they start understanding.
Marketing.
And I remember when we did, and when we did the first show at Fnac, my manager tell them, how many security you got? And they were like, yeah, we got one person. And they were like, that's not, she was like, it's not a good idea. Do you know who he is? He was like, he's a Zouk artist. Like, we never put more than one security for Zouk artists. It's like, we're gonna have like, 300 people? Like, it's okay, we can handle it. Like, we're gonna have 150 people. We know how to handle it, etc., etc. So we on our way to the store and we get a call and we hear noise, people yelling. And this is the boss of the store. Don't come, please don't come. What's going on? Don't come, don't. People, bro, it was 20,000 people. So 20,000 people come to see a free show at Fnac, and there's space for, I don't know, 500 to 100 people in the auditorium.
C'est le flac it's the flac Champs-Élysées, no?
No, this one was, I think it was Créteil. It was Créteil or Terne. I think it was Créteil. Listen, everybody was there. Maybe not 20,000, 2,000 probably. 2,000-3,000 people, but there was only space for, small auditorium, 100 people. So we had to relocate and we had to postpone everything. And then disappoint everybody. And now we had to redo the show with invitations and stuff for the 2 weeks after and so they push us to Créteil because it was where, it's more black people, and the one at the Champs-Élysées, the prestigious one, they didn't want, it was not Champs-Élysées, it was at Terne. The prestigious one, they didn't want like a Zouk show of a guy from Lemkeisha. Nobody cared about that, right? And now they call us. Oh, we heard what happened, and so we want to move the show to Champs-Élysées now, or to Terne. I was like, oh yeah? Yeah, we have a bigger place there. We can take like 500 to 1,000 people. Maybe we can do it in 2 days, or maybe you can do 2 per station and sign CDs. And then all of a sudden, and now we're going to have like 20 security people. And all of a sudden, everybody was starting to understand and stop believing.
You caught the attention.
Believing, right? And then Bounce Baby played on M6, which was the second or third biggest channel. And then the rest is history. Then I arrived in the West Indies, people was the same craziness everywhere I go, in every country. And then people didn't know how to approach. So I'm not saying I understand. I'm just understanding, with time, when I look about the history, I'm like, maybe they just didn't know how to approach. That's a little bit of everything, a little bit of they're scared, and you're too powerful. You're too powerful for a young man that just arrived. This is your first song. This is your first album. You're not supposed to sell the same as Kassav. And you're not even from the West Indies. So it creates amazement for some people.
It's a disruption. It's disrupting the status quo.
It's a disruption, but it also creates for a lot of people the sense of, who does he think he is? He's a threat. He's gonna be too powerful. If he starts like this, he's gonna be too powerful. And some people, some people, they look at the plate this way. there's food for 10 people. It's already 30 of us. This guy just arrived and took the food for 5 people. And now we have 30 of us have to share the food for 5 now. And so you become the enemy. And then some people there, you start creating resentment because some people think that you don't deserve. Some people start, oh yeah, he doesn't live in the ghetto. He's this, he's that. He's not from here. All this stuff. And on where you are, you're just like, hey, listen, I was just inspired to do some music and I just wanted to share it with the world. To me, it's nothing more than that. But I guess for you guys, it's everything else. And for me, I don't care about all that stuff. Why do you care about all that stuff?
And this is where your experience is actually interesting, because when I'm doing a little parallel, obviously my reality is different in the sense that, well, not different because you started underground and then went mainstream. Where I started underground, stayed underground, and within the underground realm, just like you, to that point, we still, it's the same sort of like evolution. But then the pushback happened for me when I started to, first of all, you get signed to, you're a kid that just arrived just a couple of years ago. You work your way up. You get signed by Little Louis Vega, Grammy Award winner. The man just did how do you call this, the NFL Super Bowl with his live band Elements of Life, this and that. I mean, there's so much hype. You're the next big thing. Everybody's you in everybody's mouth. Oh, you heard this kid? Oh, this new kid, man, Boddhi. Oh, he's bad, man. You gotta check him out. He's DJing. His music is so different. Boom, cool. And it's like, all along, because of our education as well, and maybe also because of the backgrounds we come from, where parents were prominent figures back home, and kind of always having been exposed to a public eye from childhood, for example, being obviously and being exposed now, and that's through your parents, right? Now you creating your own lane outside of their reality. And interestingly, so it's almost like there's a continuation of the legacy, but through you and through the way you've carved for yourself through art and music. And so
the continuation of the hate.
And the continuation of the hate, which
coming from the other outside,
But the thing is that in my industry, as you know,
it comes with a heavy bag that we have to hold, and we
I
didn't
agree.
ask for this one.
But this is the thing, right? It's like, all right, cool. So I understand, I get it, I get the hate, and I get all of that. It's it comes with the territory, right? And for our parents, those realities were actually life engaging, where your enemies are real threats to your livelihood and to your well-being. Case is more, it's your well-being because it's affecting your bag in a certain way, but we're not in the business of gangsterism and all of that, so we're not necessarily gonna risk being shot dead or anything like that. However, there is indeed a way to boycott you in the industry that is very interesting, and sometimes it's not even boycott, but willfully you start noticing that because you've been brought into the game through the support of so many people, because as you said rightfully, and I repeat that through shows before, we are not where we are alone. It takes a combination of efforts to join yours in order for you to reach the different levels that you eventually reach in your life, right? So, but with that being said, then you become the talk of the week, then you become the talk of the month, and then you stay consistent with releasing dope stuff. And I realized that I was able to create something for myself that was going to be life-changing for me, but also a true contribution to the music industry was the kind of sound I was doing. So Ancestral Soul came about very early. As soon as I discovered Oshunla Day and I heard him play, that's where I came back home and the revelation happened for me. So it's like Ancestral Soul became an obvious thing. And eventually, because I refused to fold into the ranks and be just like everyone and do the regular thing and push that specific agenda, that's my interpretation. I might not be correct. But then you start noticing that, oh, okay, you're not invited there, you're not invited. So you start feeling like, okay, well, as you said, you enter certain rooms, everybody is acknowledging you for what you've done, which is great. But then certain conversations you're being pushed aside and or forgotten of, or what, as you just explained it very, very beautifully earlier, it's like you're just not in that conversation. And it's like, all right, cool. And as you said, and this is where I join you 100%, even more so now, because we spend a lot of time talking, but it's like I'm comfortable not being in the conversation just because the things that we are building individually and collectively are so far ahead in so many ways. Not saying that we are the most unique, but we are indeed unique in the sense that we stay focused on the craft and always bettering the quality of the craft we put out. So much so that, somebody like you who's always been a geek, who's always been into, technology outside of just the music industry alone, and creating music. Now you're an NFT artist, and then boom, and like all of that is like so far ahead so many people's conception of what artistry can possibly be, and even what being an artist in the music industry can possibly be. So yeah, maybe there is beauty in being the alien in the black sheep, and I think there is a beauty in it. It's not a comfortable space.
I don't like the word black sheep. I just believe that when I look at my path, I know I've been ahead, but I also know that I never did anything like everybody else. I know it. Today, people are releasing a single with a music video, and they try to go perform for 3, 4, 5 months. Then they release another one. And yeah, I release a single every week. So I'm not doing it the same way as everybody, as always. Everybody's seeing me blowing up on TikTok. They're all surprised. I'm not.
So bring context to that, because I think not everybody knows that you had one of the top charting and trending songs on TikTok.
Oh, number one trending song on TikTok.
Number one trending song.
Something going on.
A song that came out 10 plus years ago or something.
2006.
Yeah, here you go.
He's now trending on TikTok. It has now surpassed French numbers and US numbers in Brazil. I think from the last numbers that I see, today I generated something like 10 million views in Brazil, and I don't have numbers now, so I don't want to say something, but we're talking about 40 million views a day. I think today I arrived to 45 million views, and I reach 1 billion TikTok views.
1
for this song.
1
billion.
Views.
1.1 billion TikTok views.
No.
Billions.
1.1
billions. So yo, listen.
Oof.
Every day there's 50,000.
No, hold on, Papa Kia, pardon. Let's take a moment.
I know.
1
numbers.
1 billion views on TikTok.
Just the past 3 months.
Let's take a moment. A Chinese platform that is supposedly a threat to freedom and this and that, and according to all the talks, I doubt you would get that kind of number on Instagram or Snapchat.
Well, listen, I was looking at the numbers actually, because on YouTube now you have new analytics.
You see where I'm slightly getting into the politics now. Hey.
Yeah. So you have like your TikTok audience now. You can see it on YouTube, and from what I saw, I know where I'm trying to remember where it was, but I have If I count just this month on YouTube, right? The same song made 5 million views, but he also made on Shorts, which is YouTube copy of TikTok. He made 5 plus 3 8 plus 1 9 10 million views just from top 5 videos made 10 million views on YouTube. And when it comes to TikTok, we're talking about 1.1 billion views with on the top 3 uh 266 million views just in Brazil, just the last 4 days, 100 million views in the US just the last 4 days, and 85 million views in France. And then the rest of the world is so we're talking about every day 10 million new videos and 44 new million views every day, uh, from a song that you released in 2006. You made a video in 2007 in Brazil that you released around 2008. That you have performed for 15 years, and all of a sudden, and
But it's been trending, right? The song has been trending for about 2 years already, or something, right?
for 1 year, it's been trending for 1 year.
1 year. So you see,
So once again,
interesting growth.
listen, once again, far ahead of the pack when it comes to our music. The rest of them, yeah, they dream of those numbers, right? And I'm not gonna tell you that, yeah, it's me, it's because I'm the best. No, it's just that look.
Well, but
All
you're
I
one of the
know-
best at doing it. I mean, that's the thing. The bottom line is not even talking about it. I think at a
Like-
certain point, humility is great, but we've got to acknowledge you got to call a cat, and you've been.
But I understand
yeah.
what you say, but all I know is that it's me again. It's
So
me
you-
again.
So what you just said is even more cocky than what you were about to say. It's me again, bitches.
I arrived in Zouk music and destroyed everything with my first album.
Mm.
Then everybody thought it was over. With my third album, I re-slapped the Zouk industry plus the Kizomba industry, just shake things up there, plus the African music. It was just me and Premier Gaou, me and Magic System by on the top of the game. It was just us. And then it was all Coupé Décalé. Everybody was most people were rocking in Africa and a little bit of in France.
Mhm.
I was worldwide from the get-go. It's because it was by design. It was not a mistake. It was because that's the way I think.
Yeah.
And I believe that the problem of most people is that they think local. So because they think local, when they do their local awards, yeah, they know we're here because they invite us. But yeah, somehow they don't. I believe that the same way Missy Elliott at a point get a Trailblazer award for the symbol of their career and for what they did and that type of recognition. I believe that that's where we go. At a point, somebody will be like, yo, this is a big event. We got to invite these guys and we have to give them their flowers because we know. And, it is also a choice to be put in, decide for yourself that you're going to go out of the trail and not do what everybody's telling you to do, not go the commerce route that everybody's telling you to do, not follow the rules, not go inside of the radio. Listen, I went to Skyrock Radio, the infamous French radio, and Laurent Bounot was there already at that
When
time.
were you there? You're
97.
talking about 97. Okay, back in the days. Okay, go.
EO already. Was it Ado FM at that point? No, I think I don't listen. One of those two. I think it was Skyrock already. They heard my tracks. They said, "This is dope. We want to play it, but we want you to change the cars." And before Sony, the guys at Sony would even open their mouth, was like, "Who the fuck you think you are to change my music? I'm out. I don't want to play here." And I met him probably 10 years after, when we were celebrating the album of Gleur de Zouk with Lincha and Sheila, and because we participated in the album, and I met him again, and he told me, I said, "Hey, how you been? Don't you remember me?" What? Of course I do. Who doesn't know Keisha? Listen, bro, congratulations on everything you did. We are watching you.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, don't think that because people are not giving you your recognition,
They're not watching.
they're not watching you.
Yeah,
Every time I
sure.
meet an executive from Universal, from Sony, from this, from that, an artist, big or small, Nigerian artist, Congolese artist, American artist, whatever. Somebody talked to me about, tell them I said hi. They said, "Oh yeah, hey, they know you, they hear you, they dance to you. They just don't acknowledge publicly." That's it.
Well,
And
so
it's
this is the
okay.
thing, and I think this is absolutely, I agree with you, and I think in reference to the initial point I was making, I think that it requires a certain amount of maturity, a certain amount of experience that will shape, and also sometimes talking with people who are peers and some of the eminence grise, right, that are never in the forefront of the spotlights, always behind, will tell you, it's like, look, keep doing what you're doing. Don't focus so much on that, and don't do what you're doing for that, which is an advice I was given very early on. And so I never done my music for that purpose. However, I've always worked for my music to go beyond just the limited reach of a certain niche. And I think that even though, yes, we are to be considered a niche, well, now we can clearly say, and we clearly have the proof, that any major labels who come with these kind of conversations of like, well, this is that, they have now the proof that something that they actually, sort of like looked at with a bit of disdain, or at least sometimes they're not even understanding where to fit it in. The mass has chosen, and you can say what you want about TikTok, but the simple fact that they took your song, something going on, and made it such a thing where
Public, it's not them.
that's what I'm saying. The public, it's not them. Obviously, it's not them. They strategize every day on finding ways to make their songs hit, and you, an independent entrepreneur, with a song you've done 10 years ago, continuing to work your catalog, gotten to the point where through the again, the powers of the social medias, have a song off of your catalog that's being played 1.1 billion times, viewed.
Oh.
Women like Heidi Klum, famous international model, and you name it, people with 16 million. I mean, everybody, man, come on. It's like, it's amazing. And my point is, this is music that is called in Sabam, Sabam is the equivalent of SCAP or BMI or SACEM. It's the
world music.
It's musique légère. You fit that in. It's fitting into the genre of musique légère. To this day, when you fill in your papers for your royalties and stuff and the splits, you have to specify the genre. It's either musique classique or musique légère or some other. But that's it. This is where my point is. It's not so much, don't acknowledge necessarily us, but you are now forced to see that the people have chosen. They have chosen, and it's been going on, and so you can't really fight that progress and evolution that is there to stay.
The thing is this.
Okay, by the way, your mic is doing your microphone is doing like à chaque fois que tu parles, ça fait.
Is it?
Ouais.
I don't know. Everything is.
Tu fais, en fait, moi je t'entends quand tu parles, ça fait quand tu filmes, ça fait. Tu vois?
What about now?
C'est comme s'il y avait un limiteur.
Oh no, I removed that. Let me go to the settings. I cannot go to the settings. I see here. Let me go. What if I put it automatically adjust mic volume? How about now?
Yeah.
Did it change anything?
It's better.
Okay, maybe it was too loud. Yeah. Listen, I believe that the interesting conversation here is when they try to block you, then they abandon, then they join you, or they try to clone you. Soon as I arrived in the scene back in '98, they cloned me. Soon there was a producer called Joël Grégoire who produced the famous Sonia Dersion.
The famous who?
Sonia Dersion. She was a legendary artist and great producer. And then Bounce Baby came out. He did exactly the same formula, same rhythm, another sample, and he found a guy dressed hip hop like me, hat, knapsack in back, everything. And he just did a clone. But the guy did one song. I think it was something for. Listen, I don't even know if he was really singing real English. I have no idea. But yeah, listen, that's an industry where people are here to make money. The people investing in that industry are here to make money. They're not here for the art. They use the art as a way to make money. They use everything else. So for them, it's an investment. It has to bring money. If it brings money, they try to do 10 clones so they can do more money. That's it. And guys like me who are independent and who work hard to stay independent are a problem for these people. It's for them. It's too much. It's too much lack of control. And I'm a guy that is hard to control because everything I do, I learn, and then I don't need you anymore. So for all these people, yeah, I mean, the industry, you're a dangerous person. But listen, whenever I do an interview, whenever I do things, people I see that people have been following. So that's the interesting part. Is like people see you, people look at your post, they just don't comment. Whenever you talk to them, you realize that, oh, you know everything. So listen, I personally don't do music for the accolade. I really never cared about that because my only goal in life was my parents to be proud of me. So I achieved that. My kids are proud of me. So listen, everything else, I kind of don't care. I mean, I got nominated Best African Artist at the Cora Awards, which is only award that mattered to me because as an African artist, that mattered to me. I understand a lot of people are dreaming about American awards and English awards and French awards and performing in prestigious places. Me, I don't care. I never cared. I look at, when I look at the numbers, I don't look at places. So somebody tell me, for your career to really have a meaning, somebody told me that you have to do a show at l'Olympia and And, it's a prestigious place in Paris to have your name there with where Edith was. And I'm like, how many people are going there? Oh, 3,000. I was like, you know how many places with 3,000 people that did in Africa? Probably 100 places.
Yeah,
You know how many
absolutely.
places in Africa I did with 10,000 people's
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? People's
Probably
perspective
100
is what's
places.
gonna be. I think people, not to cut you, but to add to what you're saying, is exactly very interesting to the point we're speaking on, is the fact that it is how people influence you, and sometimes time
Yeah.
and experience will show you that, hey, you know what? Thank you for having projected these aspirations on me, but these aspirations are not necessarily mine. They are yours for
They're
me.
yours.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
No, thank you. What you
No,
mean,
but
thank you?
no, but of course, why? Because this is the
Listen.
thing. No, hold on, Papa. Okay, let me develop
Go
my
ahead.
point. Because I must thank you for
Which
you. Huh? There you go.
it's your show.
No, but even if it's your show, you have to develop your point. Why I'm saying thank you. In a way, my thank you is kind of like, what the fuck are you talking about? But you know what? Sometimes, remember, I don't know if you recall, or actually you will recall. I was telling you, okay, that was years ago. I said, no, okay, come on, you gotta shut them down, man. Come on, we gotta do this show. We gotta do Keisha Live with a big man. Remember, I talked to you about this, and I remember you were patient with me because obviously of our relationship. But I could sense as I was talking to you that I was definitely getting on your last nerve. But you still were patient enough. Well, okay, come on. But it was indeed pissing you off because it's a
I had that conversation today again.
You had to repeat yourself, and when you exposed to me the actual exact point, and you took me to the process, I was like, oh snap, he's absolutely right. And I took inspiration from that as well for myself to a certain point where it's like, okay, when I see, as you just said earlier, some people, some of my fellow DJs, doing this and that, whereas before I would feel a certain way, I would honestly feel like, this is why are they eating and I'm not eating. Whereas now, and not now, but for the past several years now, I feel so happy for them. And I really genuinely see that, this is amazing for the movement. Because again, I think but maybe it's as a way to protect myself or ourselves from dealing with the mental distress that can be brought upon you, because you sometimes, again, because of people around you, because of whatever expectations you may have, you start creating these big things that are unnecessary. And echoing your point,
Anxiety.
and voila, you become anxious. You start creating this shit. It's not good. So it's like, hey, you know what? Do you, brother? And I will support. But or sister. But for that matter, it seems like even that seems to be a threat for some people. Now, it can't really be genuinely happy for me. But why would I not be?
The problem is the definition of what success is in the eye of the beholder. And a lot of people, whenever you have success, it is your definition of what success is, right? So listen, I have 2 kids. They have food in their mouth. They have a roof over their head. My wife has a roof over their head. She can eat morning, noon, and night. This could be, for a person, definition of success and the definition of happiness. Just like, I provide the bread, we're here, is this love? That could be the only thing I need. Some people, that's their definition of success. Some other people, their definition of success is just being able to release music commercially once and maybe pay the rent with it. For some people, that's their definition of success. For other people, it's performing to the masses. Wembley Stadium, this, that, places that matter. And my problem with people is not that their definition of success is different than mine. their mind. My problem with people is that when I'm living my success on my road, they leave their
on your
road
terms, your own terms, yes.
on my terms. They leave their road, they come to mine, and they
And
tell
you
me,
how to run your business. Yeah.
oh, if you want to reach success, you have to go there. And I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, you know, such and such did Stade de France.
Feel
Such and such did Stade de France. I'm like, okay, how many people in Stade? Yeah, 80,000 people. And I'm like, okay, I did in my city, Kinshasa, my stadium, 80,000 people. Stade Léon Ondimam Bongo in Gabon, 100,000 people. I did the stadium in Brazzaville, 80,000 people.
I was there too. We did that.
We did that. I was in Canela Beach, Cap Verde, 70,000 people. I was in Festa Sumba in Angola, 110,000 people. I was here, and you can give me probably a third of the countries in Africa, and I can tell you where I was in this place, there was 100,000 people. And for you, because you don't respect Africa, and sometimes in yourself, you come to me and explain to me that, yeah, but if you do a good Stade de France, now people are gonna respect you. I was like, so fuck their respect them. I don't care about their respect, because if I take my numbers, I did probably 10 times this stadium, but it's at home. And all you guys call yourself Pan-Africanist, but the only thing you care about is me performing in France in a place with 10,000 people, another with 3,000 people, and another with 20,000 people, and then the big one with 80,000 people. And yeah, now it's a real career. It shows that we are not in the same mental plane. We're not in the same dimension. I'm not there. Well, I had a conversation with some friends of 30 years, an hour ago, 2 hours ago. And they are talking to me about, oh, we got a new license for this place in Paris. It takes like 1,500 to 1,000 people. We're gonna have the thing, and yeah, you know, we want to go back and do some shows and bring the crew back together and do the things like the good old times. And I'm like, the hell? Nakaza, what up? You know, it'd be like, yeah, like the good old time. And I was like, guys, in 96, all of us were together, and I left you guys behind because I got frustrated of the fact that you guys were just not moving. And now, when 30 years ahead of you guys, you are here telling me that I have to come with you and let's do some shows at the whatever. And I was like, guys, listen, it's simple. You want me to leave my bed? You're gonna have to pay me. That's simple. And well, listen, you come out of a Louis Vuitton, buying some Christmas gift for your wife, and some guys are telling you, you know, we have to make an effort, and you're gonna be like, whoa, I went on my road, my way, I'm doing things my way, and I trust myself. That's why I'm here. Because when it was just me, you know, listen, when we leave the radio station, right? We leave the radio station and they tell me, Sony Music, they tell me, young men, you're not there yet. Your album is not out. You cannot make an enemy of this radio, this particular radio. Please go to the studio and change your guitars so that we can get in. Listen, in reality, they don't care about the guitars. They just want to take 10% of your copyright that they will share together for you changing your guitar. That's what's going on.
Yeah, it's a business.
So play the game. And my answer was, fuck everybody. And listen, I told everybody it's not happening. I'm not changing nothing. I'm not changing my mix. And if I don't, if I'm not playing on this radio, and they were like, if you don't play in this radio, you will play nowhere in. And I was like, then in this case, so be it. We come back to the car. My manager and I come back to the car. We sit, and she tells me, "Is this your decision?" And I'm like, "Yes." And she's like, "Do you assume your decision?" And I'm like, "Yes." "Will you complain about the decision in the future?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "In this case, let's fucking go." And we then created an international network of ourselves sending the CDs to Jamaica, to Tahiti, to Thailand, to China, to the US, everywhere around the world, by ourselves, going to the mail with every day 100 CDs, paying ourselves and doing that. And
big shout out to Guylaine.
Shout out to Guylaine. This is what, and she's today she's the CEO of Virgin Records. Okay, so
parabéns.
We did this,
yeah,
on our own,
and on your own terms. You've decided your own fate. You went for it, and you worked for it,
and signed at Sony. And Sony having no idea what to do with me. So after the second album, I told them, I'm out. What did they do when I said I'm out? They said, "Oh, you think P. Diddy? Look how we're gonna block you." Could not sign it nowhere. Everybody told me, "Hey, we can't sign." Radio was like, "We can't do nothing for you." So went to Belgium, laid low, crossed the desert. A few friends continued to book me so I could survive as I was preparing my next move. And when my next move arrived, it was It's All Love, the album that changed everything again. And now everybody was, "That's again? Oh shit. Hey, brother." And I was like, "Brother? Not your brother. I'm not with you guys anymore. You're not playing my music. Bye. You guys are not. Bye." Turns out there was a brand new television that just arrived, and they had no video of quality. And Ondikwa was the only American-looking video for an African artist. So Trace TV started playing it every 20 minutes. And it made the song explode as the network was expanding. The song was exploding more. Then we did a strategy to give Senegalese, to the people from Ivory Coast, to the people in Congo. We gave them the license to print however many copies they wanted. Just give them 10,000 euros and this, do your thing. We don't need reporting. We don't need to know how many cassettes you sold. Just don't sell outside your country. And that's how the through piracy, my thing became huge. And I would myself give some songs instead of going to download. I would give songs on Keisha.com directly, so people could download it. That's how Something Going On became huge in Portugal. That's how One Love became huge. Like, because I gave those songs, and then I could sell the albums after that. So I had an independent strategy from '98, but it really became super. Okay, I'm gonna do it my way, and I'm gonna take it to me. Starting 2001, and while you do this, everybody is waiting for you to fall. And sadly for them, you don't. And some of them that were waiting for you to fall, they start asking you for jobs now. Or they start asking you to sign them on your label. And you're like, what's going on? The same people that were telling you you're gonna last 6 months, they play your songs like crazy and they tell you, yeah, I was here from day one. And you're like, bro, the North remembers. I remember. But all good. I understand. At a point, once you understand that this is your business and every decision you take will take you to a certain place. If you want to play the game, and be where the game is and get the money from that game and not
get that bag,
then you play the game. Like when they told me, hey, for l'EBS, one told me, hey, they want the publishing, and you have to give this here and these there. And I was like, okay, how much are we projected to make? We projected to make $1 million if they work the way they want and they get what they want. And okay, what's my cut? We make $1 million. The cut is around $300,000, $250,000, $300,000. You have to play the game. You have to give a little bit of this here, a little bit of that there. I was like, all right, let's go, let's do it, because that's not my project, so I can do it. So it was, I was like, hey, listen, you want publishing, take publishing, and not they make everything work the way they like to do it, and we made money together. And those are decisions. And for me, it was like, okay, I can do those commercial decisions. They will support my independent decision for money. And the more I did, the more I learned, the more I understood. And, the more you start also understanding it times. Like they want a hit, give them a hit.
100%. Don't ship out.
Don't want to only please the people who don't spend money.
That's exactly true, man. That's exactly true. I echo what you're saying, man. I mean,
DJ Gelas, when are you opening your YouTube channel, bro? I mean,
DJ Gelas, what are you waiting for? No, I mean, when I to echo what you're saying, right? It's interesting because the love in this industry is a very weird, bittersweet sort of like experience, because people they well, and again, we understand what we mean by that, but maybe it's good. Gela says he just did.
Hallelujah.
So, but this whole idea of love, it's all love, bro, and I think ultimately it is all love. Really, it's okay if you don't support me. It's okay, but don't expect that I will act like the person who's been slapped and will give you the other cheek. I definitely won't interact with you in a violent way. I will not return any forms of disrespect or boycott or anything like that. But I certainly won't be returning any favors that you have not received in the first place.
Since you're not seeing my private message, I'm going to pee. Ciao.
Since you what? What is it? Are you going to pee? You sent me a private message. Sorry. I got a PC. Follow pipi, mon cher. So, that's the thing, right? So love is very interesting. And again, I think that like any beginnings, you look for certain validation, which is absolutely normal. I mean, you can't expect to be moving in any industry, in any field, without somehow getting anywhere, any places, without the support of some of the people, some of the gatekeepers. And indeed, I think one of the big issues is that once some people enter certain rooms, they close the door behind them, and then they run and they forget about everyone who has actually paved the way for them, was there for them, who was supporting, etc., etc., etc. And so the fear, I think, for a lot of people who are in position, besides the fact that you can come and compete with their business directly, which I think is problematic in so many ways, because, well, if anything, the sun shines for everybody. But the reality of this business is that, competition at that level is not well perceived. And so for some of these people, there's also the fear that, if they give you too much room, too much space to move, you might start acting up. Like you see an artist that you've brought up and supported, and now that they feel strong, they feel like they can run on their own and do their own thing, which is actually the point of supporting somebody to grow and be the best they can potentially be through their creative expression. But at the same time, there's also that sense that, well, it can very well turn into a situation where this artist will actually start treating and talking to me, or behaving in a way that's going to be disrespectful, or it's going to make me feel like a certain way. And I think that's where the issue is. You should not have any expectations. And I know it's hard, but that's a lesson I've learned from a friend of mine years ago. We were business partners. We stopped collaborating together, but we've maintained a friendship. And there's something that I've learned from that experience and this friendship, is that don't have any expectations. And it's very difficult to build as a skill and a personality, because it is against the way we move. I think to not have expectations, like, come on, like, we should have an interaction that is built on an exchange and on sort of like even grounds. But a lot of the time it's not. And I think that the it's all love conversation, or it's much love this, much love that. Sometimes it is indeed meant in a truthful and honest way, but I think a lot of the time, it's all love until it's not. And the reason why it may not be is for various reasons. People who reach a certain level of success look at you as a threat because you remind them of where they come from. And, they might have to always feel like they have to behave in a certain way every time you're around, which makes them feel uncomfortable. Or they fear that you might confront them with the fact that you've been there since day one, which a lot of people love to do. Oh, I used to see you were this, you were that. And it's like, it can be annoying. I can understand that. But again, it's a question of having intelligence and reading the environment you're in and knowing your position and your place. And a lot of people have that issue of knowing their places. And with that being said, that doesn't mean that you should be less than what your light shines to be. But you've got to understand that, everybody is a lion and a lioness in their, specific parts of the forest. And some people you're going to be able to build relationship with that's going to be lasting a lifelong test of time, and some people you won't. But the bottom line is learning to not have expectation and working on that daily. It's a spiritual practice. It's an intellectual practice. It's on so many levels one of the most difficult things to do. But I think that it allows you to free yourself from constructing, from being victimized. Should I use that word? By the expectations people have of you. And sometimes, if you think about it, people try to deroute you because you're really successful in what you're doing. But as you said earlier, it's like they want to take you to a different route. But why should I follow? Why should I put some water in my wine where I'm doing just fine? Why do you want me to put everything that I'm doing now at stake, where you yourself have you know what I mean? You have no real record of consistent success. Not saying that you've not had success, but it's not obviously equal to what I've been doing. And technically, you're looking to get some of what I'm, you know what I mean? So there's a little bit of uh, analysis that you must have when people come to you with any sort of suggestions and advices as to where they're coming from, what is their intent, and how is that impacting you. And well, as Kay was telling us about, the whole idea of his manager at the time telling him, look, are you sure you're not going to regret this decision? Are you comfortable with it, this and that? And that was a decisive moment because he didn't look back and he moved ahead. It was decisive in, how history was made. So yeah.
Assume yourself.
Huh?
When you assume yourself, you assume your own decisions. You're not frustrated, bro. Listen, if you something I say a lot when I think, for example, about an ex and the relationship went sour and we don't talk anymore or something. I will never hate you because one day you made me smile. One day you made me happy. So the decision I took to be with you, even if it's over now, I don't regret those decisions because they are taking me where I am today. And I'm moving forward with, more experience of life and etc. So that's the reason why I call my album It's So Love.
It's So Love.
Because those were me understanding that from 98 till 2003, these 5 years were filled with love, fame, jealousy, bitterness, pain,
Vanity.
all these things, and people turning against you for no reason. People, listen, when you have success, not everybody's going to take your success the same way as you take it. Some people are going to feel, and they don't even know why. Some people are going to feel threatened. Some people are going to feel that something that, listen, they were happy for you the day it comes out. They're happy for you. They're here with you. They're your people. They're like, oh my God, you finally made it. You worked so hard. You deserve it. You deserve the work. Listen, I'll be there. And then success starts coming. And they feel something. They don't understand why they feel it. They start hating you. And they didn't know that they were jealous until they start feeling it. And it's not, like, and all these feelings that you create. Bodies, bon dia.
Muito bom dia, madame.
It's raining like crazy. Yeah, so these feelings that you create on people, they are not sometimes the master of it. And you are not either. And you start realizing that on your path to whatever you're doing. And a lot of people, I believe that they see everything like a mirror. They don't see your career from the point of view of your career. They see it as, if it was me, I would do this. So they come to you and they say, you should do this. Because that's what I would have done if I was in your feet. And my answer is, don't give me opinions or advice from what you do if you were in my feet, because you don't really put yourself in my feet. You put yourself instead of me.
In my shoes, you mean?
Ask yourself, what am I going through? Where I'm going? What are my objectives? Don't say if I was him. Say him, and give me an advice about me, not an advice about what you would do. And that's something I used to.
Can you redefine that a little bit, because I got confused with that explanation of yours. So
of course, because when I say important stuff, you're always on your phone. You think I don't?
No, I'm not on my phone. I was taking notes, but so you said, don't give me, because that's my point. My question is, what do you mean by don't give me advice about me, but advice about you?
Okay, let me give you another example, then I come back to it.
Mm.
The reason why women, back in the days, I was always having long conversation with women, and the reason that they love my advices were that most of the time when they had advices from their friends, other girls giving them advice, they would tell them, if I were you, I would do this.
Okay.
I
No,
would
no.
treat
Okay,
you
I
like
got it. No.
what
Okay,
I
you
mean?
clarify that because I wasn't
So
sure if
they-
that's what he meant, but I just wanted
Yeah.
to clarify. That's important.
And whenever it was me, they would hear not what I would do.
But you
I
would do.
would tell them, okay, explain to me your situation, explain to me how you feel, explain to me what it did, and then I would tell you, hey, listen, you could do this, you could do that. It's about you. Most people come to you with an advice saying, hey, if I were you. So this is ego. This is them trying to force on you their ideas. Sometimes even trying to leave something through you.
Of course.
A
lot of the
success,
time.
whatever. And now that it's working for you, they all come out of nowhere with ideas. And
All out of the woodworks.
of course, but it
What the
didn't
full
work.
1-1, baby? Let's go. Let's get it.
You know, every time. Listen, when we signed, when I was assigned the production and writing and composing of the girl group leaders. Once I made my $300,000, and in the whole sense of thing, we probably made $1.5 million. My part was 300,000. Everybody else, the project generated for the record companies and etc. $1.5 million. The day the album came out, the executive producers of the album would bring the girls to me every week because they would only listen to me and they would only trust me because I was caring for them. I was making sure that they were taken care of, that they had a good contract. I was talking with their parents. I was really like trying to be very protective, and also I understood what it is to executive produce a woman in the music industry. I understood because of doing Tia, Sumya, Taina, all these women I worked with before. Those girls were 18, so I understood, etc. I told their record label, "Hey guys, it's not a hip hop group that you used to. You have to do this, you have to do that. You have to be careful. You have to be careful who they're dating because problems can come from here. You have to be careful who they're talking to. You have to be careful of their families because if we are successful, people are gonna come from everywhere. If we're successful, the auntie is gonna come, and all of a sudden she's gonna be like, why this? Why that? Everybody's gonna have questions. They might not have answers. So you have to give them the answers. And I remember that one of them started dating a guy that I know. And all of a sudden, and this guy was a singer that was not that successful. And all of a sudden, he was everywhere in every show. And I was like, hey guys, look at this. Be careful just be careful. Make sure that he doesn't come, and put some information at night when they are in the bed. That's when this guy is gonna try to live her success by procuration.
Virus Trojan.
Virus mouché.
Virus Moussoulelou.
So whenever I there was another one, she was not even singing in the project. She was not even she was not in the studio when we recorded. She was just a model. And in the beginning, everything was clear for her. But then it became a national hit. It became a hit in Martinique, Guadeloupe, Guyane, then in France in general. It became pop music.
Massive.
It became
Yeah.
France.
Mm-hmm.
The places where they would go, TV show that they would do, it was Hit Machine, etc., etc. And all of a sudden, her auntie comes to her and tells her, "Hey, why are you always on the left side?" Listen, it was very simple. The way I did that
That's how
group,
it starts, man.
the way I did that group, I was okay. Listen, we're gonna do the Destiny's Child approach. This is Beyonce group. This is a group to launch Beyonce. We're gonna do 3 albums of Destiny's Child, and then we do the solo album of. That's exactly what I said to the record label. That's what we're gonna do. That's the strategy, and it's gonna take us 6-7 years to go there. If we arrive there, it's gonna be multi-millions every year.
Amen.
And so I start doing this. So I explain to the girls, you girls don't sing, you girls are just cute, and you girls are just you're just there. And it's okay. And you're gonna make money too. And listen, for not singing, both of them were playback completely, microphone shut down during the shows, and they were just there to be cute. And they were making 700 to 1,000 every show. So you 18 years old, you're making 1,000 every show. You make
Just to be
3
there.
shows a week. That's 3,000.
But could she sing? That's the question.
Why are you going to complain that you sing, you don't sing? You don't even care about that until somebody asks you the question. Comes and say, why are you always on the side? You better sing yours up for free. You're the most beautiful. Huh? Why? Why you? Who's this girl? She can't sing. You sing better than them. Your uncle, whatever, can sing. So she comes to me, and she says, "Okay, bro, I want to know why I can't sing like in the shows. Like they only turn on my mic like between songs when I say, hey, ça va bien, everybody's doing good." Like, and I was like, because you can't sing. Yeah, but next album, can I have some songs? Can I? And I was like, of course. But you have to start working now. Take singing lessons, or maybe I can write you a rap. I can write you something. And listen, next song we're gonna start pushing stuff for you as well. And then I told the label, be careful. The hyenas are starting to smell money. And listen, we're playing on TV 5 a.m., 5:10, 5:30, before the journal, after the journal, before Secret Story, after Secret Story, before Big Brother, before this, before. They were playing it like crazy. So now all of a sudden, the show is sold 5,000, and the boyfriends. Now you have
now, come on.
The family is.
That's expected.
And now you have. They come to the label with their own managers, each of them, and I'm like, oh my god! And listen,
bonjour.
After a year, they went to the TV station by themselves. So the TV station that was actually behind the whole label. So they went to the TV station by themselves. They were yelling that they want this, they want that. We are superstar. We this, we that. And the record label called us. They said, "All right, it's over. We're done." And so they.
You fuck shit up for yourself, just trying to be a star.
Yeah, listen, they just shoot themselves in the feet. And now we're like, okay, we're gonna do the solo album of the leader of the group. And I was like, listen, I told them, listen, what we can do, either we do a solo album with the girl, or we can do the same group with two other girls. We're not singing anyway, so we find two models and we can change the group. We explain to everybody that it's like it's a concept, and every album we change the two girls, and then the main singer is always the same, and this is whatever, and or you put two dancers instead of, just listen, Pussycat Dolls, Destiny's Child, all these groups, they made the same way.
Yeah,
There's either one or two lead singers, and the rest are side wingers. And so they say, now we want to do a solo album for the girl, and
c'est des backing vocalistes de toute façon. Enfin, c'est des sons pour la présence. Quoi.
Exactly. And they had a backing vocal contract. So we say, okay, let's start a solo album for the girl. So I go on tour. When I come back from tour, call them. I say, so where we going? They started working on the album already. So I'm like, oh, okay, well. And I'm like, so I'm sending some beats, some ideas, and nobody's replying to me. And at a point, I'm like, bro, what's going on, guys? And word is in the street that you has been, and your beats are always the same, and so she wants something new. She want to work with new people, and you know who she was working with? The guy who was fucking her. And he fucked her career.
Woo!
Bye!
Yeah. Au revoir.
Au revoir. And listen, I was talking with
I have that conversation with every female singer I work with. So I'm like, yo, y'all are very strong at saying, yeah, we're gonna do this. I'm ready to work. I'm ready to learn. The moment a guy comes and press that button, it's like, reflection, intelligence, all through the fucking garbage. Because everybody's funny in this industry. Everybody is wired to believe that somebody's out there to fuck them over, and it's like, gosh. Anyways, continue.
It's so interesting that all these artists are sending messages now.
Of course.
Something.
Are you ready to discover me again?
I see you on TikTok. So amazing. I remember when you did that song. I was there in the studio. Oh my God. If only, and even the producers called me a few years ago and they were like, hey, we want to do the project again with 3 new girls. I was like,
not really.
You should have done that years ago. Like, you should have done that in 2009.
That's when it's
and then listen, as soon as they said we want to do the project again, they called me to say they want me to work on it. They want me to be the lead person on it. And then all of a sudden they start working with a bunch of people themselves. Because they heard the name. Everybody was like, oh, this time we're not leaving the bag. And me, I was like, you know what? I'm out because I don't want to do a project where you guys not trusting me enough to give me the reign. Listen, it is something that I never understood about people. If I made you €1,500,000
exactly, like, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you listening to a bunch of people who are saying, yeah, this time I have to be in there? And what's wrong with you deciding that this time you're going to work with those people? It's something I never understood. I remember back in 94, I signed this group. I didn't sign them, but I did a track for a group called ADM. So it was 3 girls rapping. It was one girl from the West Indies, one from Africa, I believe, and the other one was from Morocco, I believe. It was like this TLC type French rap. And I do a track. The track gets some steam on the underground, and they get signed by Sony. So they take me to Sony with them. That's the first time I go to Sony. In the office, they bring us champagne, give us a glass of champagne for everybody.
Were you drinking alcohol at the time?
No, I never drank, but
No,
that
exactly.
was like, yo, we
Oh,
signed.
tu as mis tes lèvres, tu as fait semblant comme d'habitude.
You know.
Les buveurs de champagne sont fâchés quand ils sortent avec toi, Keisha. Le gars qui ne boit jamais de champagne. Mais bois, mais c'est quel champagne?
I would take a sip for this type of occasion, right? For the luck. So I signed for the song. So I signed my publishing, signed all the papers for the song, and I give the rights away for the song, etc. And they signed a label contract. They signed a deal for the group to be in Sony as a girl group. And for me, I'm like, yo, they sang with my song. Tell me that was the name of the song. They sang with my song. So I'm now, I'm already thinking of all the beats that I'm going to do. So I'm doing a lot of hip hop beats, those poppy hip-hop beat TLC style. And I'm like, yo. And I call the guys from Sony all the time, or the label where they signed. I don't remember which one it was. But I call them all the time to say, hey, I have some demos, I got some tracks, I got some instrumentals, the girls, and nobody replies. Because the Menelik, the everybody that was Sony at that time, all the big artists, they heard that there was a girl group signed, and everybody, they were putting money in there, so everybody wanted part of it because everybody wanted to, make some money, and they pushed me on the side. And that girl group came out, and they flopped. So something I've seen countless times. People that do something with me, I have a particular style. So because the people who they sign to don't even understand that my sound is particular, they sound coming from me, and then they want to snatch them away, and then they give them another sound, and it doesn't work.
Of course not.
And most people, they don't understand that.
They don't understand. There's a secret recipe about what you're doing. There's a science.
There's a science into how I do it. And the problem is, most of these people, even the artists, you're gonna do the first album of an artist, and they're gonna listen to you from track 1 to the last track. They're gonna do exactly what you say. Then they become famous, and they don't want to listen to you anymore because they have their opinion of where they want to go, etc. And because you respect that, you listen to them, tell them, okay, what you're gonna tell them, listen, from track 1 to track 6, that's my zone, and I'm gonna give you the hit so I can sell those CDs. Everything else, you tell me what you want to do, how you want to do. I'm gonna be there to make sure you don't make wrong choices. Make sure that the featurings you take, I'm gonna
guide you. Walk you through.
And then on the third album, they don't listen to you anymore at all because they know better, and they have a bunch of artist friends who tell them, hey, you should do this, you should do that.
And one of the things that I noticed, not to cut you.
Sorry, last phrase. Why you guys always listen to people who are unsuccessful?
Bon, voilà, merci. You just said exactly. C'est ça.
But you take advice. It's like women taking love advice from people that are divorced.
For that case, both women and men. So we,
women and men. Like me at a point, it's something I always tell people. Before you take advice from people, look at where they are, look at what they did, and depending on what they want to give you an advice on, don't come give me advice about my music. You in the bakery business. I don't come to you and tell you how you have to do pain au chocolat. Don't tell me how I have to handle my music video. Now, if we talk about promotion, etc., yeah, we can meet somewhere in the middle because it's promotion of a product. If it, what chords I'm going to use, sit down. I'm not gonna tell you how you mix your chocolate and how you put your butter in your croissant, all that stuff, because I have no idea what you're doing. And because I have no idea what you're doing, I'm gonna come here to you and give you an idea. If you tell me, hey, what do you think would be a good way to do the croissant? Something I'm trying to do something crazy. I can come and be creative with you, and I'm telling you, what about this, and you're gonna translate this into your stuff.
Yeah.
If not, I'm not gonna come here explain to you how you're supposed to cook your stuff. I'm just gonna be like, I like it or I don't like it.
But it's interesting because people have an opinion about everything, especially nowadays.
Listen. Even what I've said works for most people, but for me, I don't even think it works, because if I taste 100 different croissants, I'm gonna know what's the difference, and I have these different intelligence. So, yeah, what can I say?
Hey, you've said it beautifully. Why do you take advices? But at the same time, I would have to add a small nuance to what you're saying, because just because somebody has not been successful in their career doesn't mean they cannot give you advices as to what you should avoid doing for you to not find yourself in the same predicament they are in, which most of the time people who are not successful won't be doing. But a lot of the very honest ones who've had enough.
There's a hole there. There's a hole there. Be careful not to fall there. That's where I fell.
Yeah, exactly. And so those are rare. The people who will tell you, hey, look, you should be mindful of this, and that. But you this is your experience. And if you're listening, you will avoid these holes. That doesn't mean you're going to avoid the experience, because you're still going to gather experience, because you now know that, this and that is to be avoided. No, people still want to go and rush and hit the wall and then complain and blame everyone else. It's their fault. And you see a lot of artists.
That's not the advice people give you.
No,
the advice people give you is, you should go this way, or that. Music is just supposed to be that.
Tiens un truc sur la joue, là. Tiens un truc sur la joue. La Bogo City, à droite. Là, c'est à ta gauche. Regarde à ta droite. Tiens un truc sur la joue, ici, là. À côté du nez, là. Non, à droite. Là, tu regardes à gauche.
Here?
OK. Sur ta joue droite. Ah, voilà.
Isn't that a pimple? Oh, no.
Ça va, c'est passé.
No,
c'est juste un petit truc.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, a maior parte vou trazer. Vocês vão onde? A sério?
Pam, cada pam.
Pode fazer água.
Chuva tá bater bem. Vocês estão querendo sair da casa. Isso é o quê?
They just want to eat. They like to eat late. Those two. It's the double chocolate. So it's this thing where you really have to be understanding that the decisions you take are not decisions that you have to change as anybody say something, and at the same time you can receive a great advice from somebody who has your best interest at heart.
True.
It's just that you have to also understand that your path and your destination and the path you're taking, if you believe in it, you have to protect it. You have to protect it at all costs.
At all costs. Even if people think that you're crazy, because not everybody will have your vision.
Some people,
and maybe you're wrong, but at least go through it.
Some people don't understand what you're doing. They come to you telling you, it's the wrong path, and you look at them like. And some others, they understand what you do, and
they see it.
And some people might help you where you want to go, and they might change a few things that will help you reach where you want to go, because sometimes some people see where you want to go when you cannot really explain it. The problem is people, they just come in your path and they pretend they know everything when they don't. And I really see it with artists. A lot of artists, they just they don't understand what you're doing. They don't understand where you're going, but they have an opinion and they want to tell you that what you're doing is wrong. You should do it this way because it works for me this way. Listen. There's 1,000 ways to go to Rome, and maybe I'm not going to Rome. Maybe I'm going to Venice. Maybe I'm going to Bombay. You don't know where I'm going.
Exactly.
It's funny because when I listen to sometimes I read my old interview from 97, 98, and I'm like, you just said stuff, and then I realized that I used to say those stuff. I realized that I used to talk this way already, even if maybe my thing was not I would say
You're
that
more eloquent, more elaborate with your speech now than you were
more
before.
elaborate in my whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, you have more experience anyways. I'm pretty
exactly.
sure the Keisha of like 30 years ago and now it's like, okay, cool.
But then,
you were there, but you're more there now than you were now.
I'm like,
then.
the same guy. It's like the same guy looking at that direction already. That's what I'm seeing. When I read interviews from Tate, I'm like, I was looking here. Then I'm like, I'm here. I'm there where I wanted to go, or I'm on the way. So that's, to me, that's the beauty of it. And I see some artists that I worked with before, or some artists that I didn't want to touch. I see them every project, they're changing direction. And I'm like, you don't know where you're going. You don't have a firm belief.
Change image and change direction all the time.
Change image, change direction, change label, change man, or change girlfriend. Every project. And I'm like, and people tell me, hey, you should save X. You should take that person and do a project with that person. And I'm like, no, I don't want to waste my time. I'm sorry. Because sometimes I just have one conversation with those people. Just from that conversation, I know I'm not interested in
continuing further.
Yeah, because you start realizing that you have to take care of yourself and not be frustrated with what other people are choosing for themselves. You have to respect that. But even if they're going to the hole, listen, maybe they might fly over it. You don't know. I remember when Eligio was doing his first 4 or 5 songs of the first album. I would come to the studio, or I would just give him beats and tell him, you do your thing. In my roster, Eligio was the most free artist ever. He was the guy I was like, do your thing. Because the money maker were me and Sumi.
So he had the freedom to be.
And ABG also part of that. They believe we were from the West Indies. Eligio was like my wild card. I was like, yo, listen. Every time people leave the studio around like 4 a.m., he comes in and I stay an hour, then I go to sleep, and then maybe before I start the session with Sumia the next day, I check what it did during the morning, etc., etc. So we're doing like 4 albums at the same time. And I remember the first time I heard a few of the songs he recorded, I was like, yo, bro, come on. You're not gonna do a chorus in English, then you are rapping in Criollo, plus you put some stuff in French. I need you to choose, do a song in French, do a song in English, Do a song in Creole,
Mm.
not those mixes of everything all together. And no, these you have. And it was like, that's me. That's my personality. That's my thing.
That's what I do.
I was like, hey, listen, let him do his thing. He's not our. Listen, we probably gonna do 2,000 copies of this one anyway. We're gonna do 10 with that one, probably 20 with this one, and mine hopefully 25. I don't know. Well, turns out I do 30 with mine. Amazing. I do 35 with uh, Sumia.
Sumia.
ABG that was supposed to do like 30 with them because it was all in Creole in the Zouk label. Like they were supposed to kill everything. They got super pirated. Everybody download the album, and Eligio did 10,000. And listen, that album cost nothing. When I say nothing, it was cost nothing. Even the music videos, we went to Cape Verde, shot some. We shot them ourselves. We shot on the camera. I did it. Listen, we had 100K from that album.
Amazing, man.
And 0.00. Even taking him to the West Indies.
And you're talking back then, so this is not even now. Like already then, you already had mastered the concept of not, you know.
I remember that I ordered my partner, I take Luke. He told me, okay, we're taking Sumia and ABG to the West Indies. And I was like, we're taking Eligio as well. He was like, we don't need him, you know, in the West Indies, and nobody understands what he's gonna say, blah, 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 blah. I was like, let's just take him. And you know, we already were probably at 10,000 sales of my album and 10,000 sales of Sumia. So we already made 200K. I was like, hey, listen, take it from my money, put him in a plane, put him in a hotel room. We're gonna stay 2 months in the West Indies. I wanted him to just be there, so maybe I can shoot some videos, etc. We had a song called CBCC. So I think it was CBCC. No, it was not in the first album. It was a song Melodia, and another song on the album, Oduro song. Exploded there in the West Indies. Now it was making even more shows in Sumia, and people were loving him. Going on the radios, and he was there, and all the girls loving him, abs, etc. He was the star when the group where we thought that would hit, it was it didn't work. So that's so interesting. If he listened to me,
he would have not been able to.
Maybe it wouldn't have worked. But he told me I have a formula. And I was like, yeah, I know you have your formula. I'm just trying to make it up. But he was like, I really believe it that way. And I told him, so believe it this way. You think they're gonna like it? He was like, I know they're gonna like it. I was like, all right.
Confidence is everything, and this echoes to something that I've witnessed personally, where you remember. Big shout out to Christophe Derame, by the way. This man really got me my first big studio experience, and he was kind of like, well, he was actually the director, the creative director, the producer. At the time, I was not producing. I was just sitting there giving ideas, and he was kind of like executing his own ideas with my money. But you know, nonetheless, you know, cool dude. Learned a lot, and definitely learned one thing is that and I met some great people, and there was one person within these people that were there in the studio when I was working with him, Robert Walker, who we stayed friends for many years after that. Told me early on, he said, I see you have a talent that these guys can't see yet, and I see the music that you have in you and you're not able to express. And I looked at him, I said, okay, you know, I agreed with him, but because I had no understanding nor knowledge of how to produce properly, so I just accepted that I had to go through that process of learning and seeing how he was doing his thing, and then sort of like emulate, but through my own perspective. And so, one of the most interesting approach was the kick drums. So he comes from the school of 80s pop music where the kick drums are like that very light poppy kick drum. And me, I'm just
Like something.
huh? What?
It sounded like something.
Stupid man. Well, it's boum boum tune up, boum boum tune up. Ah mon cher. Bon, enfin, tu as compris que le kick n'était pas. Tu sais, c'est des petites kicks light là. Tic, tac, tac, tac. And I come from Dombolo. I come from Suku. So these sounds where the kick drum is round and full and present. And the debate was so intense that I had a bit of a we went at it a little bit, and I realized, I said, okay, look, it's okay. I'm literally sacrificing this money to learn. But after that, I know exactly where I'm going. It took that experience to then realize that, oh, okay, I need to really trust my sound and work on it and be adamant on making sure that I just enhance the quality of that sound. It's not sounding. And I remember when Timbaland did that to Justin Timberlake and Nelly Furtado's projects. I mean, the drums, the programming, the way even the kick drums were just like crazy saturated, and it was not saturated but like really heavy and in your face. And I looked at this guy and said, well, see, you were saying that this is not how you make and mix music, and this is what these guys are doing. So then I got even more motivated to just stay focused and determined on working on that sound. And eventually it became a hallmark in the industry and a reference point for a lot of people. That's why you'll have a lot of people say, ancestral sound, ancestral house, ancestral whatever. They know that's the Boddhi Satva identity that's taken over the industry in many ways. And had I not listened to myself and that calling, my spirit telling me that you just need to be doing this and staying focused on that, yeah, probably things would have not been. We probably wouldn't be here today. I don't know. So yeah, man. But anyways,
Yeah.
we spent.
What are we gonna do?
Well, we're gonna stay shining and successful, bro. That's all we can do. Condemned to
thing,
succeed.
The thing is this. I did a whole club chat about it before. What is success? Is success what you set for yourself, or is success what society? And when I say society, I mean just the 10 people around you, or the 100 people a little further, or the 1,000 people a little further, or the 100,000 people that you don't even know. Do they define that? So when you are an artist, you struggle with that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of a sudden you have strangers that really love you.
Mm-hmm.
Great. But then the same strangers, they come and say you fell off. And sometimes you're like, what you mean I fell off? I'm making money, I'm good, but like, I don't see you anymore on such and such. Oh, you have to come back and do a song like One Love, or you have to do another Quoi. How come we don't see you? How come you don't come anymore? Such cities, country, such country misses you, and they don't understand how the business works. They believe that you decide to go somewhere on your own terms when really people call you and they pay you to come. The people don't know that. You don't understand that. People don't know that. You take what they say to heart. If you don't understand that you don't.
And you yourself, you don't even know that. You learn that with time. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you learn this with time, but if you don't understand that your success is defined by you, you're gonna compare yourself to. Listen, I made 1.1 billion views on TikTok.
Amen.
last month.
Amen.
1.1
Bill.
billion.
Ah,
That's that's one
1,1 milliard de vues pour ceux qui comprennent le français.
that's 1,000 million views. Right? The last 4 days have been created. The last 5 days have been created around 250,000 videos on TikTok with myself, plus the ones created on Instagram, plus the one we posted on YouTube, etc., right? And if I compare myself to Beyonce, all these numbers mean nothing, because she probably makes that every day.
Probably.
And if on my path, I look at my success and I compare it to Drake, Beyonce, such and such, whoever they are, I'm not able to appreciate what I have. I'm not able to appreciate that 1.1 billion views were made by probably, I don't know, 200 million people, 300 million people. Like, when you think about the numbers, you're like,
C'est vertigineux.
me,
It's crazy.
the guy that doesn't win the CMA award because I'm not converted, that I'm not invited to the Afrimas, I'm not invited to the Angolan awards, I'm not invited to the Guinea-Bissau awards, I'm not invited to the PDK awards in Abidjan, I'm not invited. Even in my country, they don't invite me because they believe that I think I'm from the West Indies or whatever, because I'm too much of everything. Well, I'm the one making 1 billion views in a month. Not all these guys with their award.
Hey.
So yeah, thank you. I'm staying on my path, and peace to everybody. One love. All these people who have awards are in my DMs now. All of them. Are you trending? How did you do? Teach us.
Donne-nous les secrets.
Oh, sensei. Digital sensei. I'm like, how do you know people come sensei? Well, we know everything. Everything you do, we usually follow. Oh.
Okay.
All right.
Engraçado.
Sad.
Ah, man.
So in a way, the same people are here, he's not making shows. I'm happy that now they have people when they're in the conversation and they say, everybody's making shows, he's not making shows. Now they have people telling them, well, he's not making shows and staying home. He's probably making 2 times the money that those who are running around making shows are making, because in the country reach all these people, he owns his whole catalog. And he has a song that just blew up on a scale that none of you ever did.
Hey,
And even
bring it, baby.
And even before, none of them reached here. None of them. On an independent level, none of them. Yeah,
It's
some of
you
them
again. It's you again.
Some of them are huge in France, some of them are huge, but none of them are huge everywhere. None of them. So yeah.
No, but the thing is that you've done it in a way that is so rude, insolent. It's just making no sense. The rudeness is just like, it's like when after everybody talks all this talk and you just like,
so you just
like
when your dad gives you a slap from this side of the hand,
you just literally fly from one part of the room to the other. Yeah. You start foaming.
You just cry. You just cry silently.
Non, vraiment, c'est magnifique.
Silence!
Tu pleures, je te tape!
Listen, to me,
Oh
I'm like,
man.
none of you ever come and talk to me about success. None of you. Because all of you are signed to Universal, Sony, whatever. You have
Yep.
people in your
Yep.
bags. Me,
Yeah.
I'm here,
Well,
lone
yeah, for sure.
samurai with word walking through.
Mhm. Mais quel est le succès? Quelle est la source? Euh, Désolé, hein, les enfants. Suivez seulement le sensei. Si
The
vous
thing
pouvez
is,
suivre.
when you are not in the same mental plane, in the same business, like, listen, they are football players. I am a stadium owner. It's not the same
It's
conversation that
not
we
the
have.
same kind of money. I'm paying you your salaries.
Guys,
Ah,
like all of listen, you can take in the palop music, in the zouk music, you can take everybody that is on the top. All of them are making money from me somewhere. They have one song or two songs that they're making money for me. And whenever they go perform, they're making money from me. There's a lot of people that don't even know that there's some Portuguese famous singers that sing Portuguese pop song. They're making money for me as well because I have my hands everywhere. So
vraiment.
it's just we're not in this
Are you an
conversation.
Illuminati or something like that? Huh? Have you signed a
Listen,
contract with the devil? It's
no,
probably
I'm the devil.
that.
Listen,
Le Diablotino.
the problem here is that because people see you walking on the field where they are, they believe you're a player like them.
Yeah.
They understand that you own grass where they're walking. They don't understand that. No, me. Are you in the same hotel? No, I'm the hotel. It's not the same conversations. I don't dine with the same people. I don't have the same conversations about I want to make hits. When people come to me and say, "Oh, we need new hits," I'm like, I don't give a fuck about new hits. You don't understand. I'm not in that business. It's people
Uh,
don't understand because in 2003,
mm,
when I did On the Quoi, it was a major international African hit.
mhm.
I was already making more money from selling Sumia's album, Eligio's album, Abje album, from Nelson Freitas Deeper, etc., etc. That's 2003. That's 20 years ago. You're talking to me about, oh yeah, but you need a new hit. I'm like, you guys don't understand. You guys don't understand. It's not the
That's
same
why sometimes the
conversation.
conversation, you can't have the conversation with everybody, man.
That's why I don't sit with everybody.
Exactement.
And it's not a question of being
Cocky.
being cocky or thinking you're better than everybody. It's just that most people are not in the same level as you, and they're gonna bore you to death with their conversations.
Yeah.
Oh, and you're like, oh. Now, at a point,
Yeah.
let me sit down with other stadium owners, and we can talk about, yeah, hey, you have a little stadium, it's working well,
But also, that's not to say that what people say is not interesting. It's just that they debate over things that you have surpassed a long
that
time
are
ago.
not interesting.
And
That's
it's
what I
not
said.
adding up. No, but the thing is that it's important because
It's not
there's
interesting.
yeah, but it's not interesting based upon a context, which is what I'm feeling like it's important to set. Because if you don't give
It's
people the
interesting for
minimum of
them.
context, yeah, but again, that's what I'm
It's
saying. If you don't give them the context, Papake, you're not. The problem is that the point is can be distorted from its actual intent, which is not to say that if where you are being a player and making these
Mhm.
hundreds of millions that you feel happy with, that's good. uh,
Yeah.
I'm happy being the owner, being or whoever runs that. That's cool, and we can have
Mhm.
conversations up to a certain point where, well, you're gonna have to wait for me outside the room. All right.
Now you can have amazing conversation. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
our the dinners where we go together,
Mm-hmm.
the people we have conversations with, we are not on their level,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
we know they pay the bill.
Mm-hmm.
They take us to fancy restaurants, right?
Yeah.
They don't need us to make nothing,
No, they
right?
just want to be with us.
We have our little money. They're multimillionaires, the people we walk with, right?
Exactement.
So why they want to talk with us is because we talk about interesting stuff and because we want to learn from them as well.
100%.
And we don't gonna come and talk to them and be like, oh, we might tell them, hey, tell me about the business of. We have pertinent questions. They understand that we understand stuff, so they're happy to have conversations with us and tell us stories because they see we are fast learners. But we don't
Exactly.
come and talk to them as if we sold like 200 tons of copper. And we, I think la show doit être. They were gonna look at us like, sit down, right? When they talk to us about music, they talk with respect because they love what our stuff. But when we talk to them about politics, about business, we give our opinions as outsiders, and then they give us enlightenment as insiders.
Exactly.
When we talk to, because we sit down with politicians, we sit down with
Also,
chief of state, we sit down with business people, we sit down with et cetera, and we know the place. So we don't pretend we are, and we make sure the conversation is interesting. So I'm not saying that if I sit down with somebody who's just a singer or just a DJ, I'm gonna have a boring conversation. No, usually it's a great conversation about how to think about the industry, where the industry is now, et cetera, et cetera. We can have the conversation because we are still soldiers. We're still walking there. But then we can elevate the conversation. And when we know that when we elevate the conversation, some people stay down there or they start doing stupid jokes because they are not interested in the serious conversations, we know we have nothing to do in this dinner.
Yeah. True.
You remember when I sent you a message saying like 2 hours before a certain dinner, I was like, bro, I think I'm going to go to the other dinner. Remember that time?
Very well. Well, we were both thinking what we were going to do, and then we're like,
yeah, we're just like, listen,
yeah, it's okay. No, I wouldn't say like that, but
they would drag you down. Therefore, an airplane never landed at the same time. He started flying. Les aigles volent pas avec les pigeonneaux.
The problem with that is that there's a certain elitism which I'm not really for, but I do understand what you're saying. But I think that there's an importance in maintaining a good harmony, because you see, the problem with people behaving and thinking that kind of mindset, they end up being caught getting high off of their own supply, and thinking that they are part of a crew that in the first place they're not fucking part of. You being invited.
You know what the elitism is? You know what the elitism is? The elitism is when you really don't want to be with people because they are under you.
Absolument. Ça, je suis d'accord. I'm also with you on that.
And me never see people under us. We never see people this way.
That's just not how we were raised anyways. I mean,
exactly.
It doesn't even come to mind. Like, what is that supposed to mean?
But once you have a conversation with somebody, you know if you're wasting your time. You have to be able to know you're wasting your time.
You got to be sharp, for sure. I'm with you on that. But my thing is that, as to coming back to the point you were making about that decision we made to just end up doing one thing instead of the other, is that we analyze the value of the time against
it was after a few dinners with the same people. We're like, nah, listen, we're gonna waste our time.
Well, it's not so much a question of waste of time, but it's the conversations are not necessarily going the way of it's not going upwards. It's very stagnant, and it's all about just congratulating one another about this and that. But it's not necessarily, we're not going deep into meaningful things.
I know you are a diplomat. I am as well. But
okay, it's not being diplomat, but you like to simplify the thought.
Being like me.
Voila, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's too much me. Enough. Not enough like, we and building.
We're not gonna build anything with people who come to congratulate themselves. That's not where
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you
you build.
can't build if you keep jerking each other off for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You build where you have people who think further, and you have to surround yourself with people. The whole point of that conversation is about how to survive in a world where you have your two eyes open and everybody is blind, and you feel lonely. So you have to find people like you so
Some
that
people
you
are blind,
can.
but not all of them. And I think it's also finding your tribe, but that's not easy for
Yeah,
everybody because it's a
it's not.
mindset. If you're not setting your mindset right, if you're not understanding that there is a certain way you have to walk and behave and carry yourself in order to attract the kind of energy you're trying to
Yeah,
build with, then you're
I do
never gonna
agree.
get there.
That's true.
And even us where we are now, we're still
Yeah,
miles away from where we could potentially be, but we are much
ambitious
farther than most might
where we
even
started.
envision themselves. Yeah, exactly.
You know
So
what makes me the saddest is when I see people, when I go to Paris, like I just came back from Paris, um, and I meet people from 25 years ago.
mm,
They're doing exactly what they were doing 25 years ago. That this makes me sad, especially if I remember the potential, and I'm like, damn, like either somebody closed the door for them, somebody put a barrier for them to go further, or they put it themselves, or they
yeah,
got comfortable somewhere, or they got scared of
they didn't
leaving
see the
behind
train
what they
passing.
had to take the next. I mean, there's always a million of different things. But when I look at that, this makes me sad. I'm like, oh damn, you didn't move
Catch.
far. You didn't, and that makes me sad for people with potential. Um, I know that not everybody makes it, but sometimes you have people you like, yo, that person. Like, some people you look at them and you're like, when you're in your 20s, all of you're like, oh my God, that person is gonna go so far. And you don't know what happened. Like, and you see them and you can see in their eyes, they're happy for you, but your success, there's this thing that talk about when they know that your success equals a little bit their failure.
Yeah,
Because they're like, I mean, I should have been in the same area. We should own stadium, both of us. And you like,
but I made
what
choices
happened?
that yeah.
Why are you still in like Division 5? Like, why are you still here? Why are you still dancing in the club at 50? Like, and doing the same moves and being and having the same type of, and
Behaviors,
it's
a reflex.
sometimes it's ambition, sometimes it's scared.
Sometimes it's just the fear of reprogramming their mindset, man. Reprogramming your mindset is not easy for everybody, bro.
It's not. So but yeah,
Any
we're
words
gonna
to any words to close this conversation?
Harry and Meghan are the new black.
Yeah, I haven't watched the show. I don't think I'm gonna put money in their pocket by watching that show though.
Bro,
Ridiculous.
this is what you call the victim fest.
Oh
It's
God,
like
I can't fucking deal with it.
it's narcissism like you've never seen, and simping like you've never seen. But that's just my opinion. I will talk about all this.
Um,
Plus, Elon Musk
more.
stepping down of Twitter.
Oh, he's stepping down officially.
Yep, he did a poll and he said, "Do you want me to stay? If there's more yes, now do you want me to step down? If there's more yes than no,
I will
I
step
will
down.
I will step down." There were like 58% or 55% more yes. People were like, "Nah, like, you're doing too much. Now you want to." Nah. People were like, "Please go back to doing what you know how to do, which is engineering, this and that, cars, putting people on
Okay.
Mars. Social media, you don't get it."
Yeah. Human interaction is not
And
his forte.
the thing is this: some people, it gets under the skin. it gets under their skin. All these, all these people talking, they pretend they don't care, but they
But they
care.
do.
And listen, there's this thing about all these nerds that people have been putting to the firmament. Like the nerds are more intelligent, right? We're starting to realize that now they're good at some things, but they don't see a, a bigger picture in their idea that everything has to be engineered. No, there's
Yeah, no, c'est pas des gens qui
happens
sont,
in the human.
they lack the social skills and
Yeah,
yeah.
they lack social skills. You can see it here. So yeah, so both these things will be the subject of Club Shout Out Wednesday. Can't wait.
Papa, did you notice the quality of the show? Non, tu as remarqué quand même, il faut quand même parler un peu français. S'il te plaît, reconnais quand même un upgrade, une certaine évolution des choses.
So you have
Respecte la qualité du travail.
the new microphone.
The quality of the internet is not breaking up anymore.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And we're shooting at 1080.
Yep, I saw that.
Hello, just saying.
StreamYard.
Huh? No, I'm already paying StreamYard. It's just that I didn't know because remember, because of the capacity I had, I couldn't use the extra. So I did the test today and it worked well. I said, oh, boom.
He asked me in the settings if I wanted to be at 180 or 1080. I was like, hey. So yeah, that's good. Now you need a new camera.
Yeah, that's what we need next.
So you can do this type of effect. Look. You can do this type of stuff.
On va manger dingo. Et l'image fut.
L'image fut like things following and I mean like that's the next
next investment.
Yeah.
Bon, en tout cas, sur ce mot, Papa K, thank you for your time. Voilà. It was a dope conversation.
Yeah, it was. As always. It is always. Sometimes asking myself if we're gonna have stuff not to talk about.
I don't think that will ever happen.
Yeah, there's always stuff to talk about.
There's always stuff to talk about, but this was an interesting and important conversation to be.
It is. Sometimes we don't realize how much we give strength to people when they have these conversations, especially to the next trailblazers, the people who are scared to trust themselves and too scared to go at it. I believe that there's nothing worse than looking at yourself at 70, asking, "What if I?"
When
I was 20. That's the worst part. That's the worst thing to me. Me like being 17 and being like, yeah.
It's been a good time. And there's still more shit to be done.
Yeah. A lot of shit to be done. I'm doing this, that, taking it in a different way, doing it in a chill way, ruling the world from my secret palace, like Shalaminati.
It better be rainproof. This rain is crazy, yo. Oh my god. Yo, it's raining.
What about here? Wait.
Lord have mercy.
No, it's gonna rain all night.
No, it's gonna rain until
I was turned there behind you when you were talking. I was scared a bit.
Mm-hmm. No,
to see strange faces and behind you.
Poltergeist. Bon, okay.
All right.
Blessings, family. This was Monday Quality Talks 59 with the one and only Papa Keshamu Kulukuku, premier long day from the back, LDB. Le président des présidents. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. As always, the Club Shatter Gang joining and showing love. That's right.
Casa, Dalia, Flower, Emery, ordering. Thank you for ordering on Shadowwear. I'm actually wearing Shadowwear, but Emery, thank you for ordering a bomber jacket. I appreciate it.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. You can also go to Boddhi-Satva.com and go to the shop. There's new merch available, sweaters, hoodies. Go and shop and gift your loved ones or yourself. It's Christmas time. So, international delivery. As always, a pleasure, family. We hope you took great value in what we shared. And if you didn't, well, you know what? There's always going to be a next one. Make sure you follow Papa Keisha Mukulukuku Premier on his channel here on YouTube.
Shout out to me.
Exactement, Keisha.tv. And stay tuned. Have a beautiful festive season, which is already now going
5
on.
days from now.
Merry Christmas in advance. And we shall see you soon. Be blessed. And as always, thank you.
Bisous.
Vraiment, vraiment, c'est pas facile, hein, les bisous, bisous.